Happy Friday, everyone. Welcome to today's take. We're going to talk about our drill model, our drill sheet that we've come up with. They're still honing, and we want to put out there the thought process because that is a large part of what we do here. Is we do a lot of CEO interviews and get news out about all sorts of projects, but we have ones that we really like, and we've had a model that we've based our kind of decision making off of over years that we've been putting together. We do have an ebook we're putting out, but we also wanted to have an actual model where someone could look graphically and give it a score. And it's extremely complex, but and make it extremely simple at the same time. So it's a contradiction in terms because we want something that is friendly, that someone can look towards, that doesn't need to have a ton of background and go, oh, okay, that's a good score. But then we also wanted enough nuance that for subscribers that join us on Fridays, because we won't do this live to everyone on Fridays. It'll be just for the subscribers to go over a couple of our scorecards and then per box to go, well, let's look at the nuance here because there's a lot of nuance to this model. And that level of sophistication, where you're getting your data from and what you're looking at, it matters. And of course, would be up to debate, even within their own group. People would say, well, I don't think that's as important as this or that. But we're having a lot of success too, so far, with back testing it on old companies that became mines or that had wins before feasibility studies or whatnot to test. Is this thing able to identify like the grades of continuity? Is this following a thesis, like different types of factors that we think are important and then, of course, graded within there. But before we get into that and I start going on about how we're building this out and why we think it's very interesting and has been guiding us quite well so far, is we want to talk about London Gold here. Like that Fuerte del Norte gold mine in southeast Ecuador. Of course, I mean, huge company, huge project. I think it's a $15 billion company right now, or market cap, sorry. But they had huge results today. And we always like to just give a shout out to anybody whenever we see kind of results like this. So they had drill hole FDNN C29 238 intersected 139.53 grams per ton over 9 meters from 62 meters, including 1,720 grams of silver over 0.7 meters. So, I mean, you just go down I won't read them all, but in the news release here, it's just, I mean, outstanding results in Ecuador here. Stock not really responding that well. I mean, a lot of people would already be fitting in that it's a great project. But I mean, if you look at the present CEO, Rich Hochstein, he said conversion drilling on the project continues to yield some of the highest grade results to date, alongside the discovery of a new mineralized vein that lies outside the existing inferred resource. So conversion drilling, they're converting inferred over to the actual resource side of things to integrate mineralization and to put out to extend the size of the maiden resource, which was, I think, last year they put out. So excellent exploration potential overall. It's showing that the things are looking exceptionally bright there. So I won't go into too much detail or much more about it. It's just when you see results like that, I think it's worth a shout out to remind people like, holy cow, that's impressive. And I'll just, on that note too, just kind of throw out there too, the precious metals, just take a peek at. Silver did a big pullback since we were chatting about it the other day. I think it's at 36.81 right now. And maybe that's, if you haven't been looking at silver and whatnot, maybe it's time to look at, you see all sorts of in our space, so 200 silver, 100 silver, and all that. Who knows? I mean, could silver spike? Sure, 100%. It has before. Regardless, I wouldn't even want to see it spike. If it just, maybe calms down the volatility a little bit and just like gold just keeps on chunking along and keeps doing well, we're thrilled. So, just we like to give that highlight out there for the kind of the base level, because that's really what we're talking about is your wealth, whether it's the wealth of a country or your personal wealth. If you've got precious metals, you're covered. And certainly for the last 8 years, where we've been screaming to all high heavens to people, and mainly from my side of things, like whereas at Merrill Lynch, I didn't look at mining. I didn't look at any of that. I had no interest in it. We were trying to really open up and have opened up new people into this space to show them that there was an opportunity. It wasn't boring. It isn't, a total environmental catastrophe. In fact, it's absolutely necessary. Having so many angles, whether it be the whole AI, energy, green transition, or fiat money supply and debt issues, there's a little bit of something, whatever angle you want to take. It involves mining, and that really involves your wealth. So let's move into the model a bit more, because I don't want to spend all day here with you guys. It's a long weekend up here in Canada, and it's a beautiful Friday, and I don't want to wrap on for too long, but I want to get people more familiar with what we're achieving over here with this new model. And if we'll just pull up the DME one here, because this one's a controversial one that we had worked with before. We still have a decent amount of stock in it. You can go read all the sorts of information we have on our website about it. But it was kind of put in a very weird situation for a fair period of time there, that we were unsure as to what our position was going to be with them. We still don't work with them, but I have been talking with the company a bit. We did write an article because they had a great news announcement the other day. We're getting a little bit more interested because our overall hopes with DME are huge. They're high. It was just a matter of timing, and if they could come to terms with some of the issues out there that they had to rectify. So hold on one second. I just moved something here, unfortunately. So if we look at DME, it's got a great score of 70. I mean, that's very high. And I would say to a lot of people watching, that might be very controversial to give it that high score. And that's great. I think that's what we want from this, because even myself, I want to see what's the macro setting as far as not just their announcement with natural gas. Now, of course, this model is going to highlight more of what the current news is for anything, because that's what it looks at. Here's a brand new big news release that has either positive or negative effect. How does that affect the overall thesis? And it looks at that as being very positive. And it should be, because that is a big deal. It has a potential large amount of revenue that could come in. And the macro setting for energy, critical gases, for all that, it's huge. That has not changed from a number of years ago. I'm not saying that one's viewpoint of the company hasn't changed, because once again, people will have strong feelings either way on helium and energy as in any event. Jurisdiction and infrastructure. They're in New Mexico and in Arizona. That one, once again, this is vital, and we're seeing this one is such an interesting one as a case study to look at, to see where the state or province you're in is critical. It's absolutely critical. And these are, one would think Arizona is a very friendly. I mean, the amount of businesses moving to Arizona is huge. I mean, Taiwan needs semiconductor, by the way, which needs tons of helium. It needs tons of energy. Or New Mexico with this AI data center that's being built out, that's going to require natural gas. These things are being built out with huge plans. You think, oh, this should be a no-brainer in Arizona. Depends on what type of government you've got in there. And the jurisdiction there looks like there's lots happening behind the scenes, and is changing, and there's lots of positive things coming. But this is from what we've heard from interviews with DME we've done, a couple months back. We're hoping to see a big push, especially with some federal help, to get projects going. And that's what we really need to see here. Geology and quality of what they had found as far as assays, outstanding. I mean, as far as helium, it was outstanding. There was no worry about that. It was a matter of, can you produce it? And once again, this isn't about necessarily DME. It's just about the card. And once again, if you're brand new to DME, you'd go, oh, this looks great. I need this card will also kind of show me, and in the summary section that we write up after it, let's look at this weakness, or let's look at this, because it will highlight issues that we need to pay a bit more attention to. So even if it gives us, say, because it is an AI model, it's found something incorrect, we have to go in and find that and ask it questions. And that's why it's a great kind of cheat sheet to look and go, ooh, that's a good score. I want to find out more. And especially whenever we all put our heads together on Friday and look at things and then get down into the deeper dive into what this, 10-factor cheat sheet reveals. Catalysts. So it looks at what are some upcoming catalysts. What news are we waiting for? There's a number of catalysts, like huge, big catalysts that have been hinted at that they're waiting on. Once again, I'm not going to get into what those are, but there are a lot. And you could go back and watch our interviews with the CEO, Robert Rolfing, about that. But if they were to get it, then yeah, it would be very exciting. Am I saying it's right today, right this second? I don't know. We're looking at it. We're paying a lot more attention, and we're optimistic that if some of these catalysts come to terms, there's good things coming. Certainly that last announcement as far as the AI park, that 4 gigawatt one in New Mexico, that's a huge amount of power required. We already know that there's a contract signed from the person who wrote that article is associated with that, the contract being signed with Desert Mountain Energy, that there is revenue going to come in for their project for the AI park at Roswell. Liquidity and trading depth, it's okay. It had huge visibility, and we were talking about it nonstop. Less lately, it's starting to pick up. And this last news announcement has got people a bit more interested. But people are waiting to hear specific things, I think, and a lot of it is they're waiting to hear a blessing from Arizona that get back in. Let's start talking, getting the helium out of the ground. That would be the big catalyst. But once again, that the trading depth is it's okay, but it's getting more interest, and that's the biggest thing. It needs to get news. It needs to get news out. It needs to have people like myself talking about it if there's something to talk about. And balance sheet strength. They just raised a bit of money, so there is cash there. And once again, the revenue that would come from this plant. Operations of the plant, never mind that they've got an income from operating, but they're going to get to sell in from their New Mexico wells into that plant. Never mind the fact that they would be able to finance and upwork a lot of the existing field they've got of natural gas, regardless of the helium side of things. So a decent, strong balance sheet, capital structure. It's still good. It's still okay. Market psychology, I thought that was a little bit high. I think there's a little bit more work there. People are waiting. They're curious. They're interested. And of course, ESG community involvement. These are all tied together. The good thing with the company is that they've always been very vocal about that they were going to do things as clean as possible. It isn't just greenwashing. It wasn't just, hey, we're just throwing out some terms. And that is key because we see enough of it on the larger scale. Funny enough, it isn't even these explorers or mining companies that are greenwashing ESG. They're actually very adamant about doing things correctly. It's usually these giant big tech companies that are doing more the greenwashing, or a lot of the government-funded renewable projects that are interesting choices to be throwing billions and billions of dollars at that sometimes have no return. In any event, what we wanted this first layer to look and to give us a quick look to go, oh, maybe we need to be paying more attention, and then we can dig down a little bit deeper. What I've done as well, and I'm not going to pull it up, but we've also added a second layer, and I am pretty analytical to say the least. I think most of you know as well. I worked at Merrill Lynch. I worked at RBC, and I like to have a little bit extra comfort. So we then also have made something, and we'll think of a cooler name than this, but it's ESOM, or this is the it's the exploration overlay that we've got model that we put on top that exploration success overlay model that provides a 2-step funnel that we've back tested on projects that have become mines to see along the way 10 years early, were they hitting results that this model would suggest are in line continuity with becoming a mine. Now, this is a lot of work. It's going to take us a bit longer. That's why in our Substack, we want people to go join. They can look at the cards we're putting up because it's still in a late stage beta. where we're not trying to make people pay for this at this point or anything like that. But once we get it going, believe me, we will, because we're finding that it is giving us on a pretty good heads up on some projects that we're involved with, that we've put money into. But I want to be very careful, because there's a lot that goes into this, to say the least. And also where you're getting your data, how you're putting it in, it matters. And as we know, unless you're hand feeding every piece of data, like I can go take someone's deck and take all of their results that they've posted in a press release and get AI to punch me out some ideas, but you still have to go in and verify still. These large language models, as much as we like to hear all the fantasy of what they can do and all this whatnot, they still aren't there. You have to watch them quite intently. And the ones when they do, by the way, talk about all the incredible things they're doing, those aren't public versions. Like if you want to have a version that's working in biotech, or in engineering, or in or software development, it's not OpenAI's large language model or ChatGPT or Grok. These are industrial scale ones where you pay for it, but you also have to buy tokens. And the tokens to solve, say, one problem, it might cost you $100,000. That's the level of power and effort we're talking. The amount of chip power you're going to need, the amount of energy, and the cost that they're going to charge you. So most people are like, when they play with these LLMs, or they're making funny memes, or they're making cool visuals, some you're already having to pay extra for the tokens if you want to be very graphically heavy or a little bit more math. But if you're just playing with it at home, you're not using a lot of power. It's not a lot. You're not getting a lot. It's going to make a lot more mistakes. So we have to really be funneling down and asking it what it's weighing out, what it's looking at. This one here, it looks into things, say, like it'll look into textbooks. So we'll give it some textbooks, review this and compare it to this. It'll look at the Fraser Institute Jurisdiction Index and it'll update that. It'll look into the geophysical geochem signatures and tries to mirror to any known deposits that are nearby. So we told it only nearby. Don't go look at it. It has to be along the same geology, along the same pattern. So this is where these things are very interesting, is that you can feed it in specific factors that you want to look at, and then add a weight to it, and add a score. And we wanted something that we could just put a score and that people could look and go, that looks good, and have some talking points. But then once again, if you really want to sit in there and say, for example, go through a 43-101 and you don't know, we can pull out the highlights from that and just give, boom, here's exactly what we're looking at. This is what's so amazing about creating some of these models and having AI as well, is that you can pull out massive amounts of data from huge amounts of resources out there efficiently and effectively. And that's what we wanted to do. And the way I kind of look at it is, even at this stage, even if it does hallucinate or misses something, we're getting an overall blended score that's also kind of de-risking, because we're putting different weights in it, is that if we see something like that doesn't seem right, like you've given it a 10 out of 10 on one factor, then I'm going to dive deep into that and go, all right, hold on. Let me look to see, where did you find that data? Where did it come from? What are you referring to? Blah, 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 blah. And look it up myself. And so it works as a good marker to highlight, go investigate more. And just the same as what we love about Mining Hub. And once again, we don't work with Mining Hub. We just love the fact that they're doing some really cool work, and they help us, because they send us every day an email for free that just says, here's results. And that's why the Lundin Gold one came in, and you see, oh, holy cow, wow, that's a huge result. That's incredible. But and not that we don't know Fortune Del North or Lundin Gold. It just reminds you, I should take a look at what they're up to. And we can easily throw this in our model right now, and it'll spit out a score. It'll be a little bit different because there are different stages, but this looks at everything. It looks at where on the Lassonde curve you are. So we've thought of a lot of factors out there and implemented into this so that it can be as reliable as possible. And once again, nothing can predict the future or tell you the future, but what it can do is, once again, reduce a lot of the risk, synthesize a ton of data, and especially for someone like myself, really narrow down into what questions do I need to drill down on when I have the geo on a show, or when I have the CEO on a show and say, hey, tell me more about this as far as the jurisdiction. Do you have an actual agreement with XYZ tribe? Do you have this in writing? Do you have whatever it is? Like, is your policy, social policy, working well? These results, if it's a geo, these assays, are they actually continuous with the thesis? Is it following? And they'll explain yes or no, or like, no, this was slightly different. It's a bit of an offshoot out there. Because you need to know all of these things and put them all together. There's not just one answer that makes it all, A-okay or terrible. But having something that can synthesize all of that and give you a bit of a buffer we're very excited about what it's doing so far. And that's why I don't mind chatting about it now, because it's not there yet, but it's baked into it, these 10 factors. There's so many factors within each one of those factors that goes into this that I won't bore people with, but it is that we're trying to think of, as much as possible, bearing in mind that the tokenization factor of how much we have to pay each time we crunch one of these, the time, cost, money, blah, 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 to do one, that we want something that points us in the right direction. And we're excited thus far about it. And we want you to come in and join and take a look. We're really building out that side of the business more, because we get to chat with people all the time. I can chat with analysts all the time and have them on the show. But even when someone mentions a company that we don't follow, I can immediately throw it in there, get a bit of an idea of where to even take the conversation. And you can imagine how effective that makes my job. But my job is to identify companies that are looking good and to reach out to them. And, a part of my model is we try to work with them if we can, if we really love a project, and then we let our subscribers know this is what we're buying and this is what we're doing well in. And on that note, also for our subscribers, you'll notice we put out an article yesterday of a pretty big win that we're exiting out of now. We still like the company. We think long-term there's lots of great things happening, but we've done very well. The model told us that maybe this was it for the time being. They've got a big catalyst is coming near to, like, a little bit further down the road. We kind of looked at it and went, well, for the time and money and for how we've done so far, maybe there is an ESOM overlay company that provides a bit more short-term gain, or certainly a bit more attractive. And once again, that's a real-time application of this model that we're getting to learn to see. It's more than just, hey, we're testing it and beta testing it and we're doing hypotheticals. It's like, no, we're throwing our real money at it. So we'd love you to join that. And once again, we'll do a couple more of these Friday ones, just kind of live and just out there for everyone. But we're taking it to just subscribers by September 1st, for sure. Whether that's just 5 of you or 500 of you, we're going to do that, because that's what we want to add. We want to give something that is far and above beyond what is out there. And once again, someone might disagree. Hey, join, check it out. We'd love to work with you. And that's what makes things exciting and interesting. There's no end to people's opinion, not only on the geology and the science and the work and the vision of a project. It isn't just simply say with like engineering, you have to build a bridge a certain way. It just gets done. There's just engineering laws. There's just rules of things getting done. There's tensile strength of metal. Mining, there's some interpretation, and that is where it becomes very exciting and interesting, but also exceptionally challenging. In any event, I wanted to keep this a bit shorter. I didn't. We're almost at 30 minutes again, but I always talk too much. But I just get excited, and I especially love it when we get some sort of model and it seems to be doing well, because if I get to have the exact confidence I want by September 1st, believe me, you'll hear about it. In any event, join us in the meantime. It's a lot of fun doing this. If you do like stocks, if you do like mining, and you do like that, if there's some sort of way we can get rid of some risk and really synthesize down into companies that seem to be leapfrogging along, not because of marketing, not because that the stock price is doing well, because those could be indicators, but because is the continuity of the project, is the 3D modeling, are these actually telling the story that is actually moving forward? Is the project actually moving forward, rather than is there just market hype? Anyways, everyone, Always great to chat with you. We look forward to touching base. We're in August already. This is a very slow month, which is also a great time to put a bit of work in and to learn as much as we can for September. We think September is going to start lifting off again pretty quickly. And have a great weekend. Enjoy yourself. Hopefully you've got some time out in the sun and enjoy it. All the best. And we'll see you next week.